We are live.
Hello there, everyone. Happy Moon Day. Yeah. Let me get myself straightened up here so it won't bother me the whole time I'm talking to you. So, happy birthday, all you folks with Pisces energy, Pisces suns, particularly, as the moon moved into Pisces the end of last week on the 18th. And so, you're all looking at a rebirth day. Yeah, a solar return. And a solar return occurs when the sun returns to the actual degree that it was that it occupied at your birth. So I had a client the other day whose solar return was a whole day before her actual birthday. It was the 17th in the morning. So she got to start celebrating early. And in case you didn't know, that sets up a chart for the whole year that gives you a clue as to what's coming up and how to use those energies. So if you're ever interested in that, let me know. So this is a huge week. We had a full moon last week, so you might think, okay, exhale, not a whole lot going on. Au contraire. We're reminded to in this disseminating phase, we begin the week with the moon in Scorpio. It's at 4 degrees right now. And so that's an emotionally intense moon. And some of you navigate that really well because you're used to it. You deal with that energy all the time. But others of you might find that it's challenging. And we now have the South Node traveling in Scorpio. So that squaring that full moon, which it was at the time, it's bringing up possibly a lot of stuff. And this is good because awakening and clearing are kind of synonymous. I know a lot of people who are doing clearing on a physical level. They're clearing their homes. They're getting rid of all extraneous stuff, which is wonderful because, as I've said before, everything that you own, you have a cord of energy to. And if you have no attachment to it, let it go. So it's kind of a double-edged sword there. But with Taurus, the stuff meister of the zodiac as the North Node is telling us to really look at what is truly sustainable as we move forward. What do we really need? Are we enough? Because if we're enough, if we know we're enough, then we always have enough, as creators do. So as we hit the ground this week, um, there are a few things I want to talk about today. We have something really big happening tomorrow. This has been the month, February, the second month of the year. So even though it starts with Aquarius and then moves into Pisces, it reminds us of the balance necessary between the masculine and the feminine on the divine level to move across that bridgeness to wholeness, that bridge I've talked about that is our bridge to an awareness of oneness. And this week we have 222, 2022. It adds up to a 6, which is the universal year. Love divine synchronicity, as you know. First thing we're going to do for you and for me is we're going to do a heart drop. So put your feet on the floor wherever you are, palms up in your lap. Take a deep breath from the soles of your feet. 3.5 feet below the earth where you are is your Earth star, your own personal electromagnetic connection to the grid of the earth. So breathe, take a beautiful, delicious breath all the way from that Earth star. And as you inhale, see bronze, copper, beautiful, metallic, and crystalline light coming up from the earth, grounding you, knowing that that light contains everything that your body needs to sustain itself. Inhale all the way up. Your cells are being filled with this beautiful earth light. They feel the sustenance. And as you move to the crown, you exhale. And as you exhale, white light and gold and silver light pour down through your crown chakra, making you golden. All the rainbow of light moving down through every cell of your body. Make your exhalation a little longer than your inhalation. And remember, the soles of your feet are called the souls for a reason. So you connect your soul with the earth. As you breathe in, bathing every organ, gland, and cell with light up. Exhale. If you breathe in through your mouth to the count of 4, with your mouth closed, I mean, and then on the exhalation, purse your lips as if you're blowing through a straw and exhale to the count of 8. This calms your parasympathetic nervous system. You can do this at any time. So in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Be sure your shoulders are low, just relaxed. Your arms and hands are just limp in your lap. And on the next breath, inhale to the top of your crown. And as you exhale, all the mental energy, all the thinkety-think of your brain drops down behind your facial mask, through your throat, down through your chest, comes to rest in your heart. And on the next breath, as you breathe in and drop into your heart, on the exhalation, that heart energy expands and moves through every cell of your body. You'll know you're there because all you will hear is the sound of my voice, and you will be present in the present as the presence. And now that energy, that beautiful heart energy, expands through your skin to fill your auric field. And you are just bathed in this delicious, enlivening heart energy, loving yourself, your life, this moment. So happy to be prosperous, alive, and free. And here with me. Open your eyes. I love the heart drop. You know, as we go through this week is a little bit of a roller coaster because we've got some interesting aspects going on. And so the heart drop will serve you well, especially as you approach conversations and connections with other people, as well as yourself. To bathe yourself in that heart energy is always such a gift. And it is the time that we're in. We're in the time of the awakening of the global heart. So that begins within us, as all the shifts that are going on the planet do. They begin in our consciousness. So I want to move through the moon. One of the things that you might have noticed with the full moon was that it was the sixth in a row that was aligned with the galactic center in some way, aspected at 27 degrees. This full moon was at 27 degrees and 59 minutes of the Leo Aquarius axis. And so I have been asking myself, Luke, I hope I'm saying that right, Luke. Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And Malumbet, I hope I'm saying that. That's such such beautiful names. Thank you for being here and for sharing your names and your hellos. I'd love to know where you're hailing from. That always interests me too. Now that we have this worldwide ability to connect with each other. So I ask myself, oftentimes, if you ask yourself a question, if you ask your higher self for an answer as you go to sleep, oftentimes you'll get one. And I asked about this intergalactic, it's driving me crazy, about this intergalactic connection with the galactic center. What are we being asked to do? And I have been waking up around 3 in the morning. And I've told you this, that there are many traditions in the world which do this on purpose. They wake up at 3 in the morning because that's the time when the earth begins to shift, to greet the sun. And the veils are thinner. And it's a great time to receive messages. So if you find yourself waking up like this, 3, 4 in the morning, ask what the message is. Is there a message there for you? What do you ask to do? Sometimes I'm asked to put on a solfeggio frequency of music, love or above. I've been playing with the 777 and the 888, as well as the 528, which is the frequency of love. And so I asked before I went to sleep, I asked about the alignment, all these alignments with the galactic center. And I woke up, and what I heard was the transcendent human, that this is what is happening with these energies, the transcendent human. And so in 2012, we moved to the center, right into the galactic center. And this is the point around which our solar system and our galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy, revolves. So it's enormous energy. And we are truly being expanded into galactic humans. You know, no matter what you think of Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and, you know, all of that stuff, still the explorer race is what many call us. And so now we're looking at how we can technologically start to make that happen. Of course, we know that the divine feminine has been languishing, and we need to take care of this planet and reconnect with the earth first before we go taking a fractured philosophy out into the far reaches of space, right? So that's one of the things that's happening this week. We have a bridge to the divine feminine going on tomorrow, and I'm going to be talking about that. Columbus, Ohio, wow, hi, and Canada, wow, Canada's certainly in our focus right now, and San Diego. Hello, Penelope. It's wonderful to have you all here. And so as we begin this week, we are really moving across that bridge to an awareness of oneness, and we are being encouraged to expand our consciousness personally. This is, we've got Venus and Mars and Pluto all in Capricorn, and that is about responsibility and accountability. What's your vision, and how are you going to walk it? Not how you're going to wish everybody else would walk it. But if you're vibrating at that frequency, then your field expands and you start to see the tribe that you'll magnetically attract. And that's the way that it's going to work for all of us. The old ways of force as power are crumbling. They're collapsing. This idea that you can force the environment into a particular construct has played out its course. We've seen what that produces, and we're all awakening to the fact that that's what's been going on. That was the game that we were in. Well, now we want to play a new game, and that game is unity, awareness of oneness. And I want to mention unify.org as I move into this week. Tomorrow on 2/22/2022, unify.org is doing a global meditation, and they do a lot of global meditations. They're in tune with the seasons. It's just a wonderful thing. And one of the things that's amazing, don't ever think that you don't make a difference, because when a group comes together and meditates like this, it impacts squared exponentially in the field. It impacts hundreds of thousands of people for the amount of people that are meditating. I think it's one person affects, it's either 70 or 700,000. It's absolutely amazing. You are electromagnetic beings. You are powerful. So don't ever doubt that. And one of the things that we're really looking at now is where our self-talk is not self-loving. And that's the mind trying to keep us in the old pathways that it considered protection and pro-survival. But we're finding that's not true, especially in a world where we're becoming aware that there is no death. If this is a virtual reality, if this is just one big glorious video game, then it's here to be enjoyed and celebrated, right? Along with ourselves every day. So I'm going to go into where the moon is this week. And as I do, I'll be going into what tomorrow means. Hi, Daniela. Lovely, lovely to have you here. So today I mentioned that the moon is in Scorpio. And, right now Venus is rising as the morning star. Hi, Mary Lou from Washington. All right. I hope it's not totally cold up there. I know I had a friend in Olympia who said she was snowed in for some days. So, yes, the link is there for Unify. So be sure to check that out. By the way, 2 is the number of unity, of unifying. Hi, Anne Marie. Lovely to have you come and join us. Um, so, and if you are watching this on replay, still check in. Let me know. Leave a comment. And let me know if this is benefiting you, if you're enjoying these insights, and if it's helping you live a great week. So, yeah, Scorpio moved in at 1:19 a.m. early this morning at Pacific Standard Time. And so it's an emotionally intense day for some people, as I'd mentioned before. We're in the disseminating phase. And the disseminating phase is the phase of the moon where we take a bite out of the fruit that was of what was produced at the full moon. And this full moon was tricky. It had a grand fixed cross, which demanded that we become more aware, change some things. And as I mentioned a few minutes ago, it was aligned with the galactic center. It was a sextile, the galactic center. And when something's in sextile, it demands that we take action. So you were asked to look back to 2 weeks ago, asked to look back to 6 months ago, and now you look at the shadow of what's being revealed. Are you having fun? Are you playing enough? Are you being creative? Are you doing work that can be turned as we move into next cycle? We'll have the full moon in Virgo, and that asks us to look at how our work is love made visible. So this was the full moon of the heart. Are we in our heart? Is our heart open to ourselves? So these are some of the things that Leo asked us. What are we doing for our heart health? Quite literally. So now we come to the disseminating phase, and the disseminating phase is where we look at what came up, what was revealed. How are we doing with all of that? So, so as we look at that, we come to the Scorpio moon. And the moon in Scorpio is, as it moves forward toward the end, which will be, it takes 2.5 days for the moon to move through a sign. And so as it does so, we'll be coming finally to the South Node. So you might find that it's even more intense on Wednesday as the shift occurs. But remember, we are learning how to use our emotional power. That's part of the divine feminine. And that's what this time is all about. It's about the divine feminine rising so that we can come into balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Because that bridge that we're crossing to an awareness of oneness demands that we be whole. It's very challenging to live in a world of duality while experiencing our awareness of oneness and open-hearted love if a big part of that energy remains suppressed. And that's what's been happening. That's part of why some things seem broken and why things are breaking down, because they're out of balance, they're out of whack. And so as we move into the disseminating phase, as I said, it's like taking a bite out of the fruit of the full moon experience. Is it bitter? Is it sweet? How are we doing? If you're born in the disseminating phase, you might find that you're a teacher of the truth. So if you are teaching the truth, remember, your truth may not be everybody's truth. That's why if you can go back to the truth that love is what we're made of, what we want to vibe with, and how we want to communicate and build this new earth, then you'll be on track. So tomorrow, and I was thinking the theme song for this week, I think, is Come Together. And that's by the Beatles. And it's got a wonderful backbeat as I move into it. And so you might look that up if you're not familiar with the song. If that was before your time, definitely put the Beatles into your litany, because a lot of the transits that are happening now began in the 60s. They were seeded in the 60s. They were seeded in the time of the Beatles. and they really heralded the changes that we're looking at now. Their message of music continues through the years just beautifully. So check that out. Come together. And also, it reminds us that, we need to find middle ground with everything. So one of the things that I want to mention just at the beginning is that Neptune rules Pisces. And one of the things we're going to be talking about today is Neptune. Neptune, it softens things. We're going to have 2 sextiles this week. Remember, I said sextiles require action. Hi, Maura. Nice to see you. And so these sextiles will be first Mars sextiling Neptune, and then Venus sextiling Neptune. And we have Jupiter coming together with Neptune on April 12th. I'll be talking more about that. But this is big. We're moving into this. This is all about expansion spiritually, spiritual expansion. And so as you move through the ups and downs of this week, and there may be some, I want you to remember that that's what this is all about, spiritual expansion. Pisces is the sign that reminds us that we are spirit having a human experience. Aquarius says, pour a new consciousness through your own vision onto the soil of humanity. And Pisces says, and remember, your spirit having this human experience. The downside of Pisces energy is suffering and victimhood. But the high side is so high. And Neptune is where the boundaries dissolve. It's called the Great Dissolver. So it's where the boundaries dissolve. And it's one of the reasons that you may have found that it's a bit hard to get some steam going sometimes, some wind under your wings, because right now we're being asked to expand our consciousness, to handle that first, and then we'll know the steps to take, especially if we keep that divine message center open. So tomorrow, as I mentioned, is 2/22/2022. And that's love and harmony and peace. It's a unity, it's unifying, and it is the divine feminine. And that is the peace that has to rise for us to become whole, to rebirth this culture, this earth, in a way that benefits everybody and that lives connected to the field that we are all a part of. Rumi had a great quote that I love. And I had so many notes this week, because when my guide said transcendent human, that's where you're going. The unified field of consciousness, source, that's where you're going as far as what you're going to be sharing with people. So that means that something that I've been aware of since I was a child, now I have to boogie on to put into words. And, the qualities are reflected through the human nervous system, so that we have the qualities of self-awareness and creatorship. And as Rumi put it, there is a field, and I'll meet you there. So the field, and that's the sole governing agent of each particle of matter. That's how Albert Einstein put it. So tomorrow, the field that is being enlivened and awakened is the field of the divine feminine, which, as I mentioned, has been suppressed. This is it's the remembering of the goddess energy. And it's in both men and women. So the divine feminine, it's not male, female, even though the feminine tends to have more, it comes more naturally to the intuition and to the right brain. But it needs to awaken in all of us, and it will free all of us. So this is the frequency of motherhood. And the one pioneers into the unknown. And that's what we saw in the 20th century, especially in the United States. We saw massive growth and expansion. And that was the pioneering into the unknown. But the two is the maker, the creator, the balance and harmony that makes the life sustainable. And it's high psychic sensitivity and high psychic connectivity, empath, being empathic. And it's so interesting that this is occurring as we've moved into Pisces, regarding where the sun is now, because these are qualities of Pisces. And these qualities have been devalued. Victimhood and suffering have been exalted, but the true qualities of the Piscean age were devalued. And it demands that we trust all the parts of ourselves. And with all the energy that we've had moving through Capricorn, that is oftentimes Capricorn's biggest challenge, is to trust. When we do not trust, then we seek to control. And we know that Capricorn's highest energy is when we are in self-mastery, as opposed to trying to master the earth or master our environment. And it's also body wisdom. I'm going to talk a little bit about that, because that is the feminine, and that is what has been lacking in our healthcare and our healthcare system. And this includes a response to the seasonal shifts and changes, which is one of the things that I aim to do in my work with you. And the two calls us to connect to the body as an instrument of truth. And Aquarius is the sign of truth, and that continues into Pisces as a big truth, spirit as human, having a human experience, big truth. So it creates an ongoing dialogue, and as within, so without. So, what are you not eliminating? Well, where are you not, and why are you not eliminating well or properly? That gets down and dirty to the root chakra, to the colon and the bowel area, but that is the domain of Scorpio. And that's one of the things that you can do as you move through the month. Aquarius is about circulation. We're still in that cycle. So how is my waste circulating? Is it regular? Is it 3 or 4 times a day? Is my gut health in good integrity? Why is my throat dry? Am I drinking enough water? Am I walking enough? And when I walk, am I walking in that masculine way, power walking, somewhere to go? Or am I walking, kissing the earth with the soles of my feet, allowing my body to loosen and flow, and being at one with nature, taking that opportunity to recognize that awareness of oneness? And you might be asking yourself during this week, because as I mentioned, it's a little bit of a roller coaster, sometimes conversationally and connection-wise, with Mars first, and then Venus, and then Eris is going to be thrown into the mix, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about that. So you might say, why did I leave my past 3 or 4 conversations with this person, with a heavy feeling in my stomach? Again, body wisdom. So that's a golden opportunity to ask your body, why? What are you telling me? And what is my body, why is my body tired? What's it trying to tell me? And when is it that I should keep going? My body will tell me. It's a language to be heard and understood and acted on, so it can become stronger. And this is a big part of the divine feminine. So as it does, as it becomes stronger, this dialogue with your body, so does the sacred feminine in your life. And I find, I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of really wonderfully healthy friends that know how to do sacred self-care. But I have a lot of my friends who have experienced empty nest. They are devoted to their work or their children, and they don't do good sacred self-care. And the rest, if you don't have your health, the rest is not going to be working for you. And as you bring the sacred feminine more and more into your life, you'll find that you take opportunities to just be more and more. So yoga, dance, slow flowing practices, more body awareness. And, it might mean that something that you're already doing, an exercise that serves you well, just needs to be done with 50% less push, more flow, more awareness. And, dance, Pisces, I always feel Pisces rules the dance, because Pisces rules the feet. And it moves the lymph, dance moves the lymph, and it awakens the body memory. I don't know if you knew that, but it does. And so we're reclaiming also responsibility for our emotions. Because one of the things that's lacking in our culture is emotional intelligence. We have a lot of facts, but as I've mentioned before, facts don't create, feelings create. And that's why oftentimes it's like, well, why is this happening? Because your feelings aren't aligned with what you desire. So you have to let your emotions flow and amplify your emotions when you need power. And if you're in integrity with your emotions, then you won't find that you have these inappropriate explosions. You will be in touch with your emotions, asking your body, what am I feeling? What is this about? And one of the things that we're going to find, and I certainly hope you will join us for that meditation tomorrow, because that's going to be 22 minutes. Wherever you are in the world, it's from 2 p.m. to 2:22 p.m. So it's going to go around the world, around the world. It's going to be so powerful. So you want to be part of that. And then as we move, also to tomorrow, we have the Western astrology, Pluto return. So Moon in Scorpio, Pluto return in Capricorn. Wowza. Yeah. Collectively, we're feeling this. And Pluto, the tale of Pluto, Pluto's the god of the underworld. Pluto reminds us that there's a collective shadow and that a lot of creativity is hidden in that shadow. And oftentimes the shadow is considered to be feminine. So out of fear, and greed is fear, that's pushed down. The power is used to push the divine feminine down rather than having it rise, as Persephone did when her mother, Demeter, came to claim her from the god of the underworld, from Pluto. And Pluto demanded that she come and visit him half of the year. And so we have winter, and we're still in winter. So this dark time is so rich with opportunities for creativity. So what you're going to put forth in spring, and we're building to the equinox, what you're going to put forth in spring on the 20th of March, you've been creating. So that's why taking time to be, to allow the divine feminine in you to rise as your creative expression is so important. Rather than thinking that you need to hit the ground running on something, remember, plan, vision, Pisces is the dream, and Neptune is the ultimate dreamer. So the divine feminine is what we're going to use to heal the planet. And it's what we're going to use to heal ourselves, our private lives, our communities, the media, and even politics. So we're healing the past 13,000 years, folks. That's what we're healing. And that's half of the of a precession of the equinoxes. And that's what we're healing as we move forward. And I'm sure you've heard that there's 1,000 years, a golden age coming. Well, this is what's required, that we each begin to listen to our body wisdom, that we take time to be, that we value our intuition, that we support our emotional intelligence and ask ourselves what we're feeling and how we can use those feelings in the most proactive, magnificent way for ourselves and our community and the planet. So tomorrow, so Wednesday, the moon moves into Sagittarius at 5:29 a.m. That's always a big shift in energy every cycle. Scorpio is like a deep diver, from the scorpion to from the snake to the scorpion to the phoenix to the eagle. It's real vertical to me, Scorpio, and it goes into the deep mysteries of life. And it's especially relevant now, every time it occurs, because it's going to take us into what we're leaving behind, what humanity, the collective, is being asked to leave behind with the South Node in Scorpio. And so when we move into Sagittarius, Scorpio is ruled by Mars and Pluto, and Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. So the energy is expansive. It becomes horizontal, so to speak. And the challenge is overindulgence and overextending yourself. But it is a fire sign, and so it has to do with spirit. And when I mentioned walking, about walking consciously, being aware of your breath as you walk, breathing in nature, breathing from the heart, really communing from your heart with all of nature as you walk. And if you're in your home, I know some people are really in cold places right now, but you can walk through your home. And if you do it deliberately, feeling the soles of your feet connect with that earth star all the way down. If you're in an apartment building, just feel that energy from your soles of your feet go all the way down, down, down into the earth, to your earth star. and connect. You can connect with the earth wherever you are, whether you're inside because it's just, nasty outside, or whether you're actually able to go out into nature. It's really good to step outside at least once a day. If you're in a blizzard, if you're in snow, of course, but it's more challenging. But if you can just, I love to step outside when we've had snowfall. And I used to live on Cape Cod and in Plymouth and New York, and I would go out and walk because it was a blanket. So quiet. So you can really commune in that way too. So Wednesday, we're also going to move into the last quarter phase with this moon in Sagittarius. And you'll see, the progress you've made or the lack of same, because the last quarter phase is the phase where you take stock. And so, that's the phase we're in with the Uranus Saturn square, with the old traditions, the old systems versus freedom and the new way and the awakening. So we're taking stock of what's occurred since the 60s. So if you're not born, if you were born in the 80s or 90s, you might look back at the 60s and just see what was going on then. The music, there was a lot of radical times. And the rebel is one of the symbols for the divine feminine, believe it or not. Yeah. Actually, Sagittarius is a masculine sign, so that's the way the zodiac goes. Scorpio feminine, Sagittarius masculine, then we'll come to Capricorn, feminine again. So we go back and forth. But you can see how if the plug is pulled on the divine feminine, the ability to utilize half of our planetary energies that our DNA is seated with is challenging. It can be diminished or it can be overridden to use it in a masculine way. So we're going to be literally bringing the universe within us into a new balance. And that will be reflected in the new world that we're going to experience. And of course, the trick is to experience that now. What does that feel like? Just open to what that might feel like to walk in a world of loving oneness. Wow, right? Yeah. So some words for the divine feminine, and there are a ton of them, but just to get you started on this, are the hero and the heroine, mother, child, artist, rebel, explorer, lover, sage, the emperor and the empress, god and goddess. And also another thing that you might explore more deeply is the 22, which is tomorrow's number, because the 22 is a master number and it implies great responsibility. It's not one who just retires and watches the world go by. It's one who really contributes. So know that as well. So you might find that, tomorrow, Wednesday evening is good for some healing connections. Because, as I mentioned, it's kind of a roller coaster week with Mars and Venus sextiling Neptune. On Thursday, Venus comes to sextile Neptune. Mars comes to sextile Neptune. So as that occurs, remember to make love, not war. Because Mars is in the sign of its exaltation. It's in Capricorn. And we're going to have these two, Venus and Mars, moving in tandem together for the next over a month, because it's going to move into Aquarius and they're going to continue to move together. So Mars, wherever Mars goes, energy flows. So as it's sextiling Neptune, Neptune is magic and dreams. It can also be the great dissolver. It can be where it's challenging for us to establish healthy boundaries. It can, as I said, it can just dissolve things. If you have it in your house of finances, you might find that money just seems to really, it comes and then it just dissolves, it just goes. Or relationships, wherever you have Neptune. But it's also the mystic. And it reminds you that magic is afoot in the world. So energize magic in your life. Energize your awareness of magic. Be a warrior for peace. Now, how do you do that? You embody it. Peace is, I think peace activism is a very odd oxymoron. because peace to me is a state of being. And that's part of the divine feminine that we want to bring into being. So on the next day, Friday, we've got Mars square Eris, and that Venus squared Venus sextile Neptune. And actually, Wednesday Mars sextiles Neptune, and then on Thursday Venus takes over and sextiles Neptune. So love is the answer. Make love, not war. All of these simple seeming epithets. But on Wednesday, you're going to be asked, what do you want to energize? And if you energize forgiveness, if you energize, because this week brings big opportunities for peace and harmony in your life, within you. The energies are set up to spark your DNA in those directions. Isn't that beautiful? And yet, we may find that old grudges come up. Venus, Mars can do that. It can bring up old grudges. The illusion of betrayal can bring these things up. And so if you find those things energized in your conversations or your connections, remember, I mentioned Wednesday night has the ability for healing conversations. So then on Thursday, we've got Venus sextile Neptune. And so that brings a more loving energy into the day and into the mix. And the thing with Neptune too is it rules fog, it rules illusion. So this is, like I said, Neptune's very strong right now. It's in its own sign. That only happens every 160 plus years. So if it happens in your lifetime that it moves back into its home sign of Pisces, that's no accident, right? So it reminds us that it's very strong, particularly this year, particularly as we move toward April, toward spring. And it's strong now this week. So how can you be the magician in your life? Where is the lead? That's what the alchemist or the magician does. It releases the lead, it releases the detritus so that gold can be realized. And how can you manifest that in your own life? Don't know why. I don't have a phone number on my iPad, but folks, I apologize. Anyway, no one's more important than you right now. So breathe and radiate peace to the world. This is the best thing you can do. And tomorrow, that meditation is going to put you in that space. You're going to raise your frequency and encode that so that you have that as a reference point to go back to all the time. And of course, if you do the heart drop, when you start a conversation, if you just you're going to find that you're on a whole different plateau with that person. And then if you remember what I said a week ago about not having opinions, not having fixed opinions, being able to see the person in front of you with new eyes and see yourself with new eyes. This is a time of really, really cutting everybody a lot of slack. Finding your tribe of frequency, letting the others go, but letting them go with love. And so Friday may bring some uncontrollable changes. So I just want you to be aware of that because Eris gets into the mix. Now, Eris is one of those planets that's way out there. And I started this conversation this morning talking about the transcendent human, why the full moons have been aligned with the galactic center, why that's so important. And that is a ramp up, an expansion in consciousness that we are being called to, that we are only beginning to experience in our lives and understand. And we have planets in what's called the Kuiper Belt, which is way out there, that are being discovered and delineated. And some of these that I'm going to be talking about in the weeks to come are Sedna, Eris, Maki Maki, and Haumea. Sedna takes 11,000 plus years. Why are we discovering Sedna? Well, Sedna has to do with the oceans and the creation of all ocean life. And Eris, whose brother was Mars, is called the goddess of discord. And the people taking to the streets right now, demanding their individual rights, that they be recognized. This is Eris in Aries, and it's over a 340-year orbit. So it's going to stay in Aries. And this is one of the things that we're reminded of. We're being asked to come out of, we've been narrowed down. The Native Americans, the Hopis say, think 7 generations. 7 generations. How is this going to affect 7 generations from now? And we've come to think of just a lifetime. Nano. We're being forced into like nanotechnology and nano thinking. It's the digital dumb down is really what it is. So if you we're being expanded. And one of the ways this is happening is these energies that move slowly are now coming into our consciousness. And with Eris, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to continue to be there beyond our lifetime. So it reminds us that faith, vision is very, very important. And to have the faith and the courage, that full moon really, really asked you to be courageous in holding your vision and living your vision, even though in the face of, as you cross that bridge. And you're not just crossing the bridge, you're creating the bridge. I know you've gotten that right. I know you're all realizing that we're building the bridge. We're creating it through our awakening consciousness. And then, so Eris is square. It comes to square. Mars comes to square it, and then Venus. So this is where the roller coaster comes in. Pick your battles wisely if you're going to pick any battles at all. You know, battle for love. But if you look at it that way, just know that this goddess of discord is in there going zzz, zzz. So to be sure that you're speaking your truth from the heart and using your individual energies in a way that's aligned with your vision. Because there is a lot of anger in the collective right now, a lot of frustration. So see how you can go to that 528 frequency and kind of be above the fray. You know, have that eagle's bird's eye view. And as we move into Saturday, you know, there will be a novel approach to problems that's available because the moon's going to trine Uranus. So there could be unexpected solutions that come, surprises. You know, drive carefully if you're going to the farmer's market or something on Saturday because you don't want to get in an accident. And the moon is all about change, and Uranus is sudden change, but it can relate to consciousness, to awakening, because Uranus is the great awakener. So it can be, aha, oh, I see why I had that conversation. I see the emotion that was operating in me. And now I see a solution, a loving solution. And you want to remember on Sunday to be compassionate. You know, we've got these energies that are kind of roller coaster, but part of it's because the envelope that has had the divine feminine sealed up for millennia is opening. It's being opened up. And that's just huge stuff. This is huge stuff. So you want to be part of it because it has to awaken within us. We have a lot of people going to the other side with this Jupiter in Pisces portal from now through May. And it can be distressing, but a lot of them are deciding to work on the other side. And then there are people who just don't want to be here because this is work. It is the work as love made visible that we were born for. But there are some whose body, whose lack of connection with that dialogue that I have talked a lot about today is not present. And so they're going to need a new vehicle for that soul. Their spirit expands beyond the body so they can go into another level of soul growth. It's not easy, but Neptune is the planet where we slip the surly bonds of earth and merge with the divine. And it is a god of the ocean. So I know I was listening to someone who talked about the Solfeggio frequencies. I'll have to get his link for you because he's really, really good. He's very erudite about all of this. But he said that we are, as adults, to be 86% water. And because of the toxicity, not just the physical, they're the physical toxicities, but the programming, the toxicity of the programming on all levels, we're about 70% water. And so be sure you drink enough water, but also, salt, your minerals, that you have your minerals in balance, so that your body is able to not retain, but have an even flow of water from brain through the rest of your body. Pisces rules the lymph, by the way. So you can take, blend the Aquarius of the circulation again with the lymph. Dance with life. That's really what this time is all about. And that's what this full moon asked. Are you playing? Are you having fun yet? I hope you have some fun every day. I know some days I get really intense and serious, and then I'm like, lighten up. Enlightenment is lightening up. So as we look at the transcendent human, the key to the transcendent human is the activation of the divine feminine. And I'll be talking more about that. But that is in each of us. And our whole business paradigm is masculine. Our whole system is set up as a patriarchy, as a corporation, and we are awakening to that. And it's something that angers some people, but it's just kind of like, okay, I bought a ticket to this movie and I've been watching the show, and now I want to move into another theater. And we're creating that theater. And we are the actors. We hold sway over the script, and our attitude is our gold. Our attitude and our consciousness are creating all of it. And this is very empowering. I hear a lot about they seek. But remember, as I've told you, that whole construct is a field of fear, because they don't understand, or that energy does not operate at the level of love. It's a level that feels that a hierarchy is necessary to feel important, to feel safe. It's all fear. But this week you have an opportunity to really experience peace within yourself and love for yourself, all of the earth. And I hope I mentioned about calling the directions. It's a wonderful thing to do. The east, the south. So the east is the rising sun. It's a new beginning. Thank you. The south is the inner child, the creativity, all those wonderful creative energies of fun and play. Thank you. Come and join me. The west, it's your ancestors. Thank you for the DNA. Thank you for all that you went through soul growth wise, so that I could be experiencing this time. I honor you. Thank you. The grandmother and grandfather energy. The north, the winged ones, the beautiful birds, the soaring energies. Allow me to have an eagle's view and welcome your star origins, because we are all star stuff, and we know that we are moving out to being galactic humans, transcendent galactic humans. So as you do that, thank you. Welcome the above, beloveds of the light, higher self, the wisdom of Sophia that was the original creatress of this existence as humans. Pour down through me. Allow me to be a worthy channel for love and light and joy and celebration on this planet in every moment. Thank you. I welcome the below, the earth. Thank you for your sustenance. Thank you for being still. I live in California. Thank you for being still underneath my feet. Thank you for the consciousness raising that you were doing for yourself in your own assignment. Thank you for sustaining me with food, air, water, clothing, and shelter. Thank you for all your seasons, and thank you for all your kingdoms, plant, animal, mineral, vegetable. Thank you. And the within. All the kingdoms come to rest within me, all these directions, and I am so grateful to be here at the center with all these directions converging in me, aware as I walk that I want to be a channel for the highest good and greatest joy in my own life and on the planet at this time. If you have any questions for me, please message me at Moon Powered Astrology on Facebook. And if you have any comments, if you like this show, if you're enjoying it, please share it with others. It's going to be an amazing week. I have been preparing for this for 30 years. So it's really, really powerful. My priestess studies that I'm an 11-2 as far as my life path goes. So birthing the divine feminine. Hi, Renee. Oh my gosh. Hi. Birthing the divine feminine on this planet is what we're doing now. And it's in everyone. So it's not about separating. It's about coming together. And I hope you all have a week of coming together within yourself, within your communities, within your life. I love you so much. You know I do. I love you to the moon and way beyond. See you next Monday.